Premtobre adeshima mamemo ha eni akwaba edeba Adom TV Premtobre Kasee so ensem ni doso de sefata se wutibie eni na watwi emu nsemu eni aboa no a mede so musima aduasa wakasee mu ensem bia wo betie eni se na watwi mu eni beto dwa se abrante bia wadi mfie aduanan nan wode sekan atwitwa ne yere wa Memphis Central eno Western North mantem ne mu na watwi mu eno achi so abayi wa wadi mfie dunan ebeto dwa se opanimu bia wadi mfie aduosia sebe okokofa ne to ema enho nsem no wode kokopie court eno achi no so Supreme Court petitioner court wa wodi yi na wode beto dwa se wajefo bosomi de to sudun so no afanu no nyina wo bia emfa ne closing address emra se de be ya court no ebetimi edi asem no kra eno achi so Minister Designate for Defense Dominic Nitiwo a wokotena asem mra mpanifo etoto na no wode to dwa se onyo no na ma hobambokuo fo ekopie mu omra se bedwa mu bra no woto aba edi ayi achiamehene no ensem we ni afoforo bi eye na watwi mu nsem kire week in retrospect na makeka bo mu amede so mo sima ediasa me amekenkan Kasee dia mo medin ede ekuya echa oyi akwan abusia memo aha Besamo akwa babiem da se so waje brena wo sha Adom TV Premtobre Kasee yen share ensem no ase emfamfiri Western North mantem nim na watwi mu ene beto odwa se abrante be wadi fie aduanan nan ne yera wone ne tie esan asase ho entokwa sembinti wode sekan atwitwa no emekọ wiase no ekodi aposifo ensem Manso Memphis Mensiliposi Commander ASP Franklin Kofi Selby editu dwa se okunu ne wohire yi onya kasakasa ewo asase ehu okirimu se abrante ne ka se ne yire ataka kra encha asase ni mu emfa ne de ma no nanso oba no ampene ne no nanam so a abrante yi bufu ya wode sekan etwitwa ne yire yi na fe wodwane ede kwahye nwura be mu emabu na wokurumu wo ene aposifo ene kabo mu a okwahye nwura mu ho no mu a wonam so ekokyere no
yansa kana no koya ti busu a yetoto na no asem na emrane no edise ne emra enra na dwena yakoy aposifo ko he maame no na maame no wo chips compound ewo odien ho nurse for he no na nurse for no kire se she was in stable condition I just say nem kwano enyadia ihu se bia for meeting ya head te enyadia o mbe yina ko hospital Kasee nti enyam takra na sade chen o betimi eyi no
eno achi na abna ataka kra ene Adom Kasee atwetwe nkomo ede amane hunu a okọ mu ankasa etudwa
aka na no hu se akofa duro na sa na duro akofa de se bi kun ho ahyew na so kun ho ahyew de oni ye na wo ye ngom no dina bi edina hu na se ne duro de kukoko so no akofa ode be sa na chi duro ji opetin ye kura mo ebi go mu eni wa no ne ma so yisikan
katado fo so kakra mo
wala no yisikan yo yisikan am dwane fi ho dwane fi no oto ame emu ase gaw sen yo nya sabi wanya abuwa bia o twitwa no me de me po ache me ya nya de abeji ko me na ma moja ta me hanzo sa de wan mala na mde ujam ni so ni ase ala de apabo makumi ni ya po ho na bi azore ni kure ni ndi mo me bra baba ko am ka se ya kwabo otwitwa me anza na de amnika ni ode ba ya obeta me na ode me ba kana ni ha
wa ensem no so na watwi mu so ebeto dwa se abayu wadi mfie dunan opanimo bia wadi mfie aduosia okosese no sebe ne to na wofa esenti na ebusiafo ekogina mu ewo fa circuit court no wo che se ewo se court ebu atan na afi wo bu atentenene ede ma abaya no sanse sesei entenase akura abofra no enyade a wotimi etenase So man for Bekaya, a best and the form you know a chieni and Adom Kasee, a diamond Bobby, ever to Johnny HSA. Ulma be a wedding fear educia, I friend of Job cancer and Bia, Kasua a pussy for Aqua Cherino, a quadro day a bon and say, I buy your wedding fear do nine sabi, a quack of fanito, a war, a wood to papa say, I know a war, a wood to Senyam West, Mensini a war in Finfi Mantemu. Franco say, and Ujina, a bussy and emu a Kasaye, nor the Adom Kasee and him say, Wobon Paya say, at Anthony ebededi, na papa would dis abon for semi, or deno aqua to a fiasse.
Made hear me say papa no say me ni koje because ne wa ye no say akara na life. Na akara 14 years, next 60 years ne da. What is the reason? O say akara no say na akara sisi wintimi 19 na si nyina yekro. Nti ye say ye ma ni hu consequence ne wa ye no. O you see ache. Ti every day na akara ne da twice. One anus. Ye ne private per anus. Ti wa yesa de na almost about 2 to 3 years now. Na akara no almost 10 years no start year de ne no. Tiache oche ansa kra ne maami ba bewu senye ne nyina be hia ya nka obi nim sa abofra ne de papa ne de yenini no ne te one compound kra no ko heti o so ntana ne na so no ne ne yesa ade no nte ye 2 months also facing the panity enu ntia ordinate ne na so ho ma kra ne koto no ne ne yesa ade no ne ho ba no yi spam na gu fom to mbeso obeda na sia me ehun se o akwara ne nyema na bibisa bo office ehun se akwara ne nyeno no asanko yi nyin se ne ma abofra no so insisi ne pese o hwe abofra no to no yesa or not to give and that space at all.
And wachi ena abayo ye yempese ye bebo ne din edi tu dwa se oluma yi ema ne sika kakra bi ena wakache ne se opese wo fa no to na obona no se ma ne nka nkire obi anya sa ado bebi na no pe no obehwere ne nkwa
2 times.
Now where down?
Mgo TV.
Are TV no?
But your dabi.
What say?
But your man 5. But I.
And your dad will do anything.
I don't go be him 2 times. Or do 2 times. I know say on him baba danga sana. Miki came na mama ne me nwa ma biba onu jaye.
Ba otu no de enyo ya.
Me. But
I dey otu no dey.
Ayokuru.
Wasansem we mu no wode kwansambia ekwa kogina ewutu of Akwa Circuit Court akwa kodisa asemi. Bese na watwemienu entemu ne de amanebo bi ebebo mu ane ye chese ambulance bi akonferenfo akwakoto ahyeso driver ni no wo shutu ni ma asese oto anananom ensie do na efiade etwamu ya na opanyipa woda National Ambulance Service no ano Professor Ahmed Zakaria editu dja se enye se akonferenfo kotehye wonom so keke ejeje wonom sika na emumu odwuma ni ba kwa no ka ho so wo miemia ne pa eyade a eha adwene edema asoye no
asamuto me ya me for why do obisobimu na me wa mane
so man for Bekaya Abraham Tete a wono eye yelokrobo mansripa nyimpa woda National Ambulance Service no ano na wode openfo bi efree akusi abayan resabia akoko Florida mantem no abayan resabia kese mu ekwan so na akonfomfo bi ekoto hye wono eso driver ni ene openfo yi aposifo ekohunu wono mu se woda fom ba bi na ode wono ekọ ayaresabia driver ni ekohu ewo kolebu abayan resabia ewon kran wonu joy news amane bofo atwetwem komo na opanyimpa woda National Ambulance Service no ano Professor Ahmed Zakaria editu dwa se akonfomfo yi enye se otutuo na de bo driver ni keke no oji openfo no hu sika nyina wieye no odwuma ni ba kwa woka wono mu so omiemia ne nofo ene ne ba bia yentimi emfa ntudwa ochemu se saasemi eyade a aha National Ambulance Service ni yepa isanse saasem se krade enya de a etesi.
Honestly speaking, we are all at a loss, and up to now we've not recovered, because nobody will have thought that an ambulance carrying a sick patient will be attacked. One will have assumed that maybe they mistook it maybe for a police vehicle, but for the armed robbers to get close, identify it as an ambulance, shoot the driver, and still shoot the vehicle, force the patient compartment open, see a patient lying on a stretcher being attended to by a paramedic, and still go ahead to rob them and malhandle them is something that definitely we are yet to come to terms with. We never will have believed that such a thing can happen. Initially, people were trying to rationalize that perhaps they mistook the vehicle as a police vehicle, but subsequent events showed that that wasn't the case, because they really got closer, they saw it was an ambulance. And after they shot the driver, who was himself a paramedic anyway, they still forced themselves into the patient compartment. And after everything, they forced the poor lady to go and switch off the engine because they felt that the siren and the beacon light was drawing attention. So obviously, it's something that we have to condemn in no uncertain terms. So the lady is really traumatized. The paramedic, there were two of them, the driver, who is a male, and the female who was in the patient compartment attending to the patient. As for the driver, he was shot in the eye and in the head. So obviously, he definitely will have lost consciousness. And so with the head on the steering wheel, with his seat belt still on, definitely he could not move at all. So now they had to force the poor girl to leave the patient compartment to go and switch the engine off. All this time with a gun pointed at her head. Obviously, something that is very traumatic, that it will be very difficult for the lady to recover immediately, unless with some psychological support.
Enwechi Osaka de Tuaso say, Empenifo Ashasi Eddie, Shisheye Eguaquemua, Breast Allowances, Odema Ejumaifono, Obeshemu Kena, Ediama Wono. Now no yawada Supreme Court kwa sitina ani nyina no abatwa yeto na fimpinu ene aduonu a enwaseni ewo court wa ogusua edi na ensemu a wode etu dwane se wo hyesa afanu no nyina wogifo bosomi de tosudu nso obi anfa na no de se metwa to okra emfamra na wogifo bosomi de tosudu nwotwe no court no entimi entina se de be ya asem no obetimi edi awie na yehu ba bia ebekwa akosie.
Amended to state that our jurisdiction invoked in this election petition is a limited jurisdiction clearly circumscribed by law. We do not intend to extend our mandate beyond what the law requires of us in such petitions brought under Article 64, Clause 1, challenging the validity of the election of a president. Simply put, we are not convinced and will not yield to the invitation being extended to us by counsel for the petitioner to order the respondent to enter the witness box to be cross-examined. Accordingly, we hereby overrule the objection raised by counsel for the petitioner against the decision of the respondents declining to adduce evidence in this petition.
Gomtuna yima basonko a worhwe na abato nsamsam a rekodo o Supreme Court no wetum abawie no ositu gwa bra obiara zinkan abonunkro ewo okona opede woma isi boss Jemensa obebegina adakabem so was the main ruling was about no de onso wo nzama bia opede woye dey no ru chikata ositu gwa.
Since we have closed our case on the assumption that she would be, so we intend to file a formal motion. Motion.
Counsel, it's a court of record.
On the chino, and a court is a tool. I want to was an answer me now, Abenim there. Yami Adoma, Ukuda, or then your name is 17th February. Obiaramfa, Nensama, Waka from Gun Cratado. Nayami Adoma, Yawada, 18th February, no, court and share, now on chair or corner, what they and summoning Kano was the buffer.
Court hereby orders that the parties hearing should simultaneously file their respective closing addresses or submissions on or before Wednesday, the 17th of February 2021. The petition is hereby adjourned to the 18th of February 2021 for counsel in this petition to highlight on the written addresses or submissions so far for the petition to be adjourned for judgment.
So
Monday you heard the superior compelling arguments by Mr. Chikata, and of course you heard the wishy-washy insipid arguments by the respondents. Nevertheless, the courts have ruled in favor of the respondents, saying that they do not agree with us.
That for a petitioner who claimed to have evidence to make their case and who was not stopped in any way from calling all 5 witnesses, called 3, you saw how the 3 performed, whether or not they addressed the issues before the court, and was not forced by anybody to close his case. Now is telling the court that he wants to reopen his case after the court said you cannot use the first respondent to make your case.
Ntinyame Adom ya woda yenanimi na court obetena ase na nsem no bebia weduru no ozinhyehyaya aka ozatugwa na yehu bebia etir na nani nyina na obakọ akoto kojo mensa abrampa na menzebo
Binsumidi ede ekua echa oyi akwanme na mekenkan Premtobre Kasee ede ama wo yentoa ensem no so a osofo ya boni din se wono na eba be hye ahobambo semu ewo manmu ene oru Dominic nitiwo na okotena se ya mpanifo totena no mekire vete no ene wadi tu dwa se enyo no da biara da ene o hye ahobambo ko se wonko wura mara hye bedefie wa bra no woto aba ede yi acha mehene na sansem no ogusua eyemu enhyehyemu
15, I have to look at the video again, there were about 10 to 15 soldiers plus a number of police who were there, but I'll check up.
Like, but is this somebody you know? I don't think...
No, like I said, the investigation is ongoing.
No, I'm not talking about the investigation. I'm saying that, did you see him as part of those who walked into the chamber?
I'm saying to you that I did not really watch. I was more interested in ensuring that nothing happened. So I was more interested in ensuring that nothing untoward happened to anybody. I was more interested. If you watch here, I was sitting there. I came and sat down like this, and I put my hands and I was just sitting down. So I was more interested in ensuring that nobody gets hurt. So I was not really interested in who came, who didn't come. But the investigation will reveal a lot of things.
No, but depending on this is surprising because even I, who didn't know many of them, the police officer like Ugufori, I could say I saw him. And somebody that you knew who is part of the presidential escort that you know very well, you can't say you did.
No, that's why I told you that I did not take particular interest in identifying each and everybody who came. That's all I just told you. I didn't want to take particular interest in identifying everybody who came. All I told you is that somebody took a decision thinking that, oh, I want to save the situation. And so you have police and military there. And judging from what happened outside at the same time, and the result, where later they had to deploy over 5,000 soldiers to make sure the parliament was safe. Somebody took that decision. But let the investigation finish, and then we'll get some of these answers. If I prejudge, it will not help any of us.
I will say Rick in retrospect na what we mun sem and you go so ayebo so edema wo no yentoa ensem ni mu na kita won sabo so me de to so miensa afipinu ni nsu mu na Ghana ye hyase ede Ghana city no eba ye ne senti Adom Kasee yete ye ne yehunu se wo kodwom adwomfo ma no enya de wo ka Ghana city na tete sika na ene wo ka ne senti yokobusa wonum se ede enti na sa sika ye di ne foforo be se efie dumiensa nie no wontimi enkana nkyeremu a Odemaye eni Adom Kasee bo anan eko edwa ahodo a ewo nkramantemu ni koduru ho no ehu se edwadifo bi ekan wonum sika nanso sika wonum kan no enye Ghana sidimu ene wo kan no na emum tetetete de na yenim dada no a ena wo kan sika no ewo mu ene wonum twetwem komo wodi tudwa se wode beka 100 cedis anase 200 cedis die anko beka 1 million anase 2 million esan se eno ene wonim eno so ena aka wonum tirim ebesi ne
200 400 600 800 1 million 1.2 1.3 1.4 1.5 1.6 1.7 1.8 1.9 2 million
enti eba ne senti na sa 200 cedis die wuntimi nkana ba akona na woka
me pa ocho sika na dada no eno ye de akonta eye izimaye ena obi won so na wo ye na akonta ma no oba na wuchem ni currency ne ma na onti ase etiji sa wo sa ko old no kan na afi wa ye okay no ntina ama ye ntimi nka foforo na ye Canada no
say minimum ese currency ye di ma me humu by cities no e na me humu etimi kita me tumi kan sha by currency na fa me ni
new one me ye de akonta ma me hunu so enti old one na me de akonta me ti ase enti obi beto ma dia wo ba me trust e bia 10 million. So me cut 1,000. Me ebe menti ase ti me cut 10 million no a me kan na ma ti ase nse ma me use old currency.
Eto sky here na ke ba wonu shishin 1 Ghana 2 Ghana 3 Ghana wonu shishin shika wo 2,000 3,000 4,000 no le wala ka shi ne keni coffee akunto ha mi no ke 15 Ghana 17 Ghana ile shika ke 1.7 1.8 no le no shi so ke me kan ye Here wa me aka in le sika din kan yona. Chineke Ghana na le ka fe no le wonu hihye.
Maku, e ba cha wuntosi. Ayesen, chira me ne bo.
300,000. 300.
Adentina wuntimi nka new Ghana cedis. 30 Ghana ne 20 Ghana na old one na 300 na woka.
Yeah, ejedi fo nyina omuba local one na no mo ni ye kan. Nti na yesu ye ba we ya na ye kan no 30 Ghana. Obi wa ka 30 cedis no. Ohunu asan bi so say sen. It oka 300 in there simple no nim say 30 Ghana.
Entuma papa entwemu da na ne border form any GTP ne senti wo kodwa so a pebi na to hye na wo po bi abekeka asi ani apempam amana ye ofa pa dia Akus fashion mesra meto nkraba me ba yato aso yentoa ensem no so emfama mo na watwi mu so ebeto odwa se eden bi a wo si wo airport residential ejirigui emanipa mi nsade na woda yaresabia wo pre wo no nkwa so manfo beka ya sa dan kro ya ebeto odwa se wo so afọ wo hye akwane nkontempo so e beto odwa se sa dan no wonya esi esan se de wo si esi no ebia na ankoyie na de oye na bi esi yamani body praise so wo so esi edu ekopie mu wo ho.
Baby, I'm in airport residential area, Century Street. A Association International School in Chemupe. One AC apartment be a womechia. Na sa apartment here make one semi. Me champhone at the achrew. One started free a underground. Ana a deba esro. Na esro ya one gusua one cast concrete no. Part of the building ana samre aminumu kasee ejiri edie gumui. Eno na wo hoyi uhu se enade iron rods na epiepie wo hoyi na enkrofo a etonton ade wa ha na security man bi a woni ye adwuma ewo area mu ha ame ate ase se dwumadie ne koso a edwirigu ye no broni baako ne ebibifo mienu bi a woni wo mu ana samre de wono eprepra woni de omukọ ayaresabia last year ana apartment here muhu se esi heyi Roads and Highways Minister Kwesi Amwako Ata ene in Central for Adom TV eba be PM wa ha eme echichi amanfo bi a na omo ye adwuma e wa ha ni nyina ne se na wono esi kwan mu woni twa wo bi e de aba kwan ni mu ama minister na ebe mom woni se dwumadi e koso wa ha na omo nyai na omo ni permit na suku a efe ne se Association International School enso so etro e de command minister se dwumadi e koso wa ha e ya de a ha omo pa yi na minister no eme echi nkrofo na omo ye adwuma wa ha ede omo ekoye nanso so asem no ekopie mu ewo court ama me no kasei owner of the school Association International School ma Adom TV ete asese ekopie mu wo court no court ehye se apartment ye omu si wa hayi won nkoso na omu nsi me no kasei de part of the building ana ahye ase a ejwiri ede eguyi ye bedu ye hu se na wakasi bi etetea ebi nsusu ewura inside ye boy homodin se ye ne bi mu ebetwetwe nkomo nanso so womo anya ready so mo ne Adom TV ebetwetwe nkomo me amede report Ibrel efri airport residential Century Street medin at the Prince Owusu Esiedo Adom TV.
Kwame Krombezi School eye school bia eno wo Ahanta West Mensini mu wo atoyemantem mu na watwi mu wo de betu dwa se de school no esitie na nhwe yi a na adweregu ama school fo bi enwa ka ne senti ebeyanka aban emremu emeboa wo no.
Efisa COVID-19 yade ebabesua omanyu no aban ene emreku ahodo na afi enwabesua adwuma na sese dwumade ahodo bebre se beya sukufo ko suku a obetumi atete won tem na ensesa yade agu akwanso de beye adwuma na wokọ Kwame Krom Basic School a achefo mpanifo ene kro mpanifo ede sese agu akwanso a wache nkoda no mienu se de beya suku dan ba ko bia no anye yie kura no nkoda be se aduasa ebetena mu asua de se de beya yade no entumi enka won mu nanso wen mu nyina akwakoye de so ede kire se suku dan a wochiche mu no osuframa bi abo krom hon mu ama edan no so nyina pa sukufo sese wonya baabi entena entiso obekwa kogu damba ku na kyesa ayese de wo ya kire so no de senti sukufo no bi ni Adom Kasee ama nebo ni lotawie ahia am wadi nkomo no kire se wo hunu ma ne papa e wo de asie no eho
mosma yedugu class ade yempe osande abana nkese dinkana ka chane de coronavirus wo ho nti nhihye bi ode atugwe bia ode yedidido nti dami social distance na ode yedidido na wode anye na ebogu one class no yentumi ndidi dami social distance na do nti alesa bana de in school na wase no ye panachawa ombe ni ye man am yetumi edidi na nhihye na ode egugu anu do
Dan fidane yo class yelusiande but impofuma na nsuka sibute auto na yo demo yelusiande nti impofuma na chance no dutu nti otu impo ne yehina yeyem hyehye nti ne yehu bebi ayemfa nti ye meka na mbi pushi ma yeto nsunum na yekọ hyehye soro hon ne yen teachers ne card yenko fe na obahwe de carpenters ne be da ni amai. It's too hard for us, madam. Onyode wasande yalba wasi school bi wo yalba no rekodo nkofu bebre na wolinya yalba ne bi ntode yenya social distance na yenya yalba ne bi.
PTA chairman a wo school mo hono ene Elder Anthony Kujo ono so ne Adom Kasee di nkomo no de emofra yi ama ne hunsem etu edwa.
Asisi why de PTA onam de abanka de mama yanje sika nti sisi PTA na nkasa no ye ni sika ye botum ya je bo solve nti chide aban ana order NGO bi waboboa ma ye hwe ye dan ye mama fama so wotum atem na wesuade.
Omanfa wonum ewe putuodwa a no ewe bosomtwe mensine wa asante mantamu wayo ye kire ede eti aban ni nyina ane se contract a wode contract ama no a ono ene ye aputuodwa atonsu kwan no wagya ni senti wo ma aban enefo miensa se wansa ma contract no amade a ene wobe block kwan no wo ma obi a emfa kwan ne so
ekwantimpon eye esra so adagya bosomtwe road se wo hwe mensa bankum so ase ya eye aputuodwa market na enam se ekwan ne emfutura wasunti ama adehye wa ha se wo mutumi anidwa edwa no egu edwadifo no ekirem a nipa pina ananya yare akwadafie ebi susukura to nananom ewo ensiedo
ye niamai ye hyehye wie ye ba pro ho saa wogya ho pro kakra bia na ade ne nya akono biem obi du ana ohunu ho na enye na akono se oba beto bia ma wo wodresi sei na wo floka wosu adum anase roman hair ahu wobeka se wo free akura bi ati baabi na eba watare we ya wasei gina ha ba se wana wa wobehu de beye ko ana se oba wakura na na mfuturo wom na watem ye ni pa bre na go hospital obi anya akomaya de ye ni kwasha kwa da ye timi na da ana ni pa bebre mo asma mo tonton ne ma okwa ho wa mo wu ni pa for ana wu awakwa yi so ha wa mo asma because of sa mfuturo yi
asenkafo afa kwantimpon so e de to edwase sisi ade e kanko anomo ebo enam kwan bone a wo mo enam so no
e kwan na nye otoka sisi na kana se
ya spring ibu e kina ni twin futuro santi amade be enjenye
ewie ebusia ahana na watwe mu nsem a yeboaboa no edebre mu no yedi ebesie medas papa se wo fie na wo jebre ede hye kasee bi ede ma me kasee mu aboafo nyina wonum ewo Adom Kasee de mu so beda obibia ase camera light sound makeup obibia medamu nyina ase GTP for medamu ase Ekus fashion wona pa matade de hye me ono so meda na se me amekenkan kasee ede ma me din ede ekua echa oyi akwan makramo